twist of events, let's check in with JJ Redick and see how he's doing this morning.
Series. They have allowed too much. I have no problem with physical play in the playoffs. But if Steph Curry's not allowed to move off the ball, if you're preventing players from running down the court and you're allowing that to happen, there's a play late in game 2 where Kevon Looney's right underneath the rim, ready for a rebound. Sabonis crashes in, pushes him in the back. They don't call the foul. That's a foul. The referees have dictated too much in the Kings' favor in this series. I really believe that. And I don't know if it's the home crowd or whatever. I rarely complain about the referees. In fact, I don't even know if I've ever complained about the referees. I think they're great. But if they're going to come back in this series, they've got to call the game the way the game is supposed to be called.
Two things that are really, really funny about that. One, I didn't even notice before. First one being how seemingly pissed off JJ Redick seems to be over this. Two, and I'll read this for those on Odyssey in 1320. But for those watching, look at the bar at the top of the screen. I just noticed this. Coming up, Stephen A's Knicks in trouble after getting blown out in Game 2 in Cleveland. So think about that for a second. The most prominent host on ESPN is an open Knicks fan. How is he going to dissect this stuff? How is he going to give a breakdown of this series fairly when he's obviously a Knicks fan, right? But they lean into it. They lean into it because it's Stephen A. What the hell is happening with JJ Redick here? JJ Redick was the one who, it dawned on me, he did his big apology to Sacramento, right? And that was like a cool moment. JJ, that's my guy. But deep down, he doesn't want to acknowledge he was really, really wrong about all of this. Because there's, shout out, Mr. Bonte Hill, there's levels to this. There's levels to admitting that you're wrong. Oh, man, I got that wrong. Yeah, I said, what Candace Parker say? They're going to light the beam right out the first round of the playoffs. Oh, yeah, they all thought Golden State was the squad here. Why? Because they saw Golden State so much. That's one of the teams that you watch if you work at the Worldwide Leader, if you work at all of these places. You watch the Warriors, you watch the Lakers, you watch the Knicks, you watch the 76ers. That's what you watch. But now that they're all caught flat-footed on Sacramento, it's Draymond's suspension. It's too physical. The hell? Y'all spent a week telling us how different basketball is in the playoffs. You kept telling us that Sacramento can't play with the physical level that happens in the postseason. And now the Sacramento Kings are too physical for a team that has played 10 years worth of playoff games? What are we doing? Why are we so stupid with this stuff?
I don't know.
We don't have to do this.
Because you know what it is, man? Because nobody wants to sit up there and say I was wrong. Nobody. And I say this all the time. All the time. People who have listened to the show for a long time, people who are just joining, you'll learn right now. I talk about unapologetically when I'm right, whenever I want to, because when I'm wrong, Damien, you can attest to this. I'll be like, man, I was wrong. I was off. I thought this was going to happen. It didn't happen. This guy surprised me. He played a heck of a game. They played a great game. I'll say it any time. I was wrong. If the Warriors come back and win this series, man, I picked the Kings to win in 6. Warriors, had that championship blood. They end up winning, man. Tip my hat to them. You ain't going to see me crying. You ain't going to see me throwing tantrums on the radio and on TV, talking about officials and Joe Dumars and all this other stuff. But they got to find everything else instead of sitting up there in front of their microphones, in front of their cameras, and be like, you know what? Man, I read that one wrong. I still think the Warriors can win, but man, the Kings are better than I realized. That's a good ball club over there. It's gonna be a tough battle for the Warriors. It's never that. It's always something else, man. And that's what I say is pathetic, man. It's pathetic. Not one. We to this day, you'll catch us anytime. We'll continue to say, man, the Warriors are the champions. They could easily come back in this series. They can win 4 straight. Steph Curry's that good. Klay Thompson's that good. Like, they can make that happen. We ain't sitting up here talking about, the Warriors and San Francisco and all this other stuff and the Bay Area and talking bad about them.
Cockroaches,
all this other. We ain't talking about all that.
I think we're the Sacramento Karens down
here. Oh,
now
we're the Sacramento Karens.
I caught that.
Now we're the Sacramento Karens.
Oh.
Look, now we got to be Karens. Like I said, everything except for hoop, man. Everything except for hoop. It's everybody else's fault. Everything else is going against them. Like Jesse said it during the break. One day you want to be a legacy franchise. The next day the NBA's out to get you. Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it one Mike?
How many times have the NBA been against the Lakers?
I don't think they were.
How many times has the NBA been against the Celtics?
Can't remember.
It was Draper's whole point.
But
that was the point. No, purposely missed it. Started talking about titles and everything they done. Completely missed what Kyle Draper was saying.
Right.
Okay. So the league's against you? You ain't that.
You a legacy franchise or
you ain't him.
Against you? You ain't
him. You ain't Austin. You ain't Austin Reeves. Warriors, you ain't Austin Reeves out here.
Is it black girl lost or shorty owe you fines? Which one is it? So, like, that's the whole thing, man. We out here, we talking about hoop. We give him respect. And they'll be like, KC, you don't give respect to Draymond Green. I don't think he's that good of a player right now.
So let's talk about that for a second. Because a lot of the conversation last night, this morning, because this whole series has evolved into a giant circus. The Warriors had a tough task ahead of them. It just got tougher with Draymond Green out. I'm going to ask you. I know how you feel about Draymond, and I know what we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Did Game 3 get – I'm not going to say easier. Did Game 3 get tougher for Golden State with Draymond out?
I would say yes.
It did.
It's their starter. It's their defensive anchor on the backside. They got no real rim protection, and you take one of they already don't have any rim protection. You take away one of those guys away. That's a tougher scenario for them. I can absolutely
solely on the defensive end.
Solely on the defense. I mean, he does some stuff on the offensive end as far as like facilitating and things like he does little stuff here and there. I personally don't think it's the difference between winning and losing, but he does something out there.
Okay. Their bench is going to, and we'll talk a lot more about these two benches as the show rolls along, but Andrew Wiggins moving to the starting line. I mean, Andrew Wiggins is a starter. Andrew Wiggins going back to the starting lineup after one game.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little bit more of a toll on that bench. You saw the bench points spruced up a little bit in game 1 because Andrew Wiggins was there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a situation where you have to take another bench player and put them in place of Draymond Green in this one. And I think we've seen 50 and 40, if I remember correctly, 90 combined threes in the two games from Golden State. Game 1 was 50, game 4 was 90. The percentages was about the same. It was 32% and 32.5% in those two games. I think in game 3, that number is going to be closer to 50, if not upwards of 50. I think their goal is going to be get up as many 3-point shots. And even if you got to 60, but still shot 32%, they might feel okay about that. The flip side to that is we've seen with game 2 staring out and it happening regularly throughout the season, Kings opening possessions, a lot of threes. We talked about the 0 of 10 and the 1 of 13, whereas they were really effective in converting 2-point baskets in the first quarter of Monday's game. It feels, and you pointed this out for the final 7 minutes of game 2, feels like it would be irresponsible if Sacramento didn't attack the paint off the tip.
Oh, for sure.
Just go at Kevon Looney over and over, or whoever else is down there. Go at them over and over and over again. See how Kevon Looney's guarding Domantas Sabonis. See if he gets in foul trouble and work that paint as much as you can.
Yeah, and at the very least, give him body blows, man. I mean, like I talked about in game 1, He was fighting for his life, trying to keep up with Sabonis and keep him off the boards and shut him down. He did a really good job in game one offensively, but gave everything he had. Now he's got to carry the load again without Draymond around. So definitely give him body blows.
I think the Warriors are going to be throwing haymakers, since we're using your boxing analogy. I think the Warriors are going to be throwing haymakers at the first quarter. They're going to try to get whatever this crowd looks like involved. So even if there's a lot of Kings fans there, Steph comes out, drops a couple, Clay drops a couple from long, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how many Kings fans are there because they're going to be quiet. And if you're Sacramento, you sustain that and you just come back with a punch to the gut. That's
what the professor said yesterday, what Phil Jackson used to say. Like, you take the initial punch, you weather the storm, and then you go to work. And that's going to be the game plan for the Kings tomorrow. I mean, but even with like for me, even with, you know, the Warriors maybe being hurt because Draymond isn't there, I don't think that has any bearing on game 3. And nothing has changed. I don't care if Draymond's suspended or plays. I feel the same way about the Kings' chances and what they could do, whether Draymond's there or not. If Steph Curry was out, yeah, I feel different.
Yeah.
Feel a lot different. Draymond's not that. He's not that type of X factor at this point in his career. And I'm sorry for the people who don't like that, but the truth hurts. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think he's gotten to the point where he's in this series. He's more of a, not going to call him a liability because I don't think he's a liability, but I think he's less of a factor than he is a factor. You know what I mean? You talk about being an X factor. That's not him. I do think he does some really good things, particularly on the defensive end. I believe he has a tremendously high basketball IQ that you could see at work sometimes. I think the Kings have mitigated a lot of that. And I think part of what we saw from Draymond in those final minutes was frustration. We can call it an ankle lock, a leg hold, tugging on the leg. You could call it whatever you want to. Dude was frustrated because he has been through 2 games worthless, and that bothers him. And so Draymond Green's a grown-ass man who acted like a child. That's what he was doing. He was acting like a child, throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of a grocery store because Cheryl and Elk Grove wouldn't get him the lemon stuffed Oreos.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
When I was a kid, I stole an Oreo before. I got in trouble for that.
Well, I hope the statute of limitations is
opened
up.
up the bag and took Oreo, and I was hungry.
That's not okay. That is absolutely not. No wonder them police officers who listened to the show was looking at us funny the other day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Imagine local radio host arrested after being found of stealing an Oreo 40 years ago.
I think you find it hard to believe, but I think it was about 7 or 8.
No one finds that hard to believe. Literally, we all could have predicted that. Like, that was the most predictable thing you were going to say today. Can we mention Mark Jones is going to join us in about 20 minutes? Can we mention one more thing about the suspension? I think it's really hard for me to believe, at least, that Adam Silver being in attendance didn't play a major factor in this. Like, he watched all of this transpire. We posted that picture on social media of Adam Silver as this is all taking place. There's no way. And I do wonder too. I mean, Anthony Slater was here. He was here. Like he felt that. Marcus Thompson, who I think is going to be with us tomorrow, he was here.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Mark Spears was here, I heard him talk about it. I feel like if you were in the building, you might have felt a little bit differently about particularly Draymond's post stomp antics than the actual play that itself. And the play, what's so funny about the play is the play just seems to come down to angles and how you're looking at this. It's a fourth quarter play in a opening round playoff series that's been agonized over, like it's back into the left, like Abraham Zapruder shot it, and we're looking for the leg pull on the grassy knoll. But the NBC Sports California broadcast looked a lot different than the ESPN broadcast did. They didn't look the same. And Domas reaching down to cover his face looks a whole lot different on NBC than it did on TNT. Sorry, I said ESPN. On TNT, it looked very different.
Yeah.
And it's whether you've taken the time to look at all this and form an honest opinion. There's clearly no pulling of Draymond Green's leg. He was not pulling on his leg.
Draymond had 2 feet on the ground. He wasn't pulling his leg.
And
there was,
contrary to Klay Thompson, he was not in a full sprint.
Come on, man. Klay said that.
And
man
Smash
was in a full
Mouth.
sprint.
Mr. Smash Mouth. He was not in a full sprint. Stop retweeting the same picture over and over again.
I don't know who the hell Smash Mouth is.
I don't either.
I think he's famous. I think he's some type of.
It looked like a band. Is it a band?
Yeah. They got a song that was popular in Shrek. That's how I know.
In Shrek?
Yeah, that's where they got big. I think. At least that's how I know.
Are they like a new group?
No, Shrek was in 2003.
But I mean, like, because my thought of them is they're like from the 80s.
Smash.
And then they played that song in Shrek and maybe it blew up. Is that?
I don't think they're
Smash
80s.
Mouth. Oh,
I mean,
wait, is it this?
Yeah.
That's Smash Mouth?
Yeah. You know that song.
I'm beefing with Smash Mouth.
What happened?
Is that Hey Now You're an All-Star?
Yeah.
It's the Shrek song.
Okay.
Wow. We got heat with the Hey Now You're an All-Star guys.
Hey, man, Smash Mouth, Skilo, same thing. It don't matter. I ain't never.
We
heard
got heat
nothing
with
else.
Skilo?
No, I'm just saying I ain't never heard nothing else from Smash Mouth.
Well,
They one-hit wonder.
yeah.
They one-hit wonder.
They got an Essentials.
I'm sure. Oh well. Geez.
Well, wait a minute. This is a Monkey song. I know this song. Oh, that was on Shrek. That was on Shrek too. Do they have anything that wasn't on Shrek that I'd know? Oh, I don't know any of these.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's not my lane. You know, some of the Warrior fans might, they might not know something from 50 Cent.
I can't believe we got beef with the Hey Now You're an All-Star guys.
Hey Now You're an All-Star.
Wow.
Well, hey man.
What the series has torn us apart.
Look, Smash Mouth, you go back to making one-hit wonder songs. We'll talk about the basketball. Okay. Okay. You do that, Smash Mouth. You go back to making one-hit wonder songs. I guess you can't do it. I don't know when was the last time you had a hit, but at least you got that one. You go back to, like they were saying last night on Twitter, you go back to playing that song at the Fresno County Fair, and we'll talk about basketball.
Okay, this feels harsh.
You don't worry. I don't go into the recording booth and try to make a Hey Now You're an All-Star and perform at the Bakersfield County Fair.
Bakerfield, not even Bakersfield. This was Bakerfield. This was just one field. That's way worse.
Bakersfield.
That's way worse.
I don't go to Bakersfield or Pomona and try to perform your song. You don't talk about basketball. How about that?
Well, okay. You do Drake bars every time the Kings win, though.
Well,
it's only a matter of time before they're going to ask you to sing those at the California State Fair.
That'd be crazy. I'd do it, though, and then I'd be like Smash Mouth. Performing at these state fairs.
I don't know. Smash Mouth never got a cosign from Rick Ross.
Well, there you go. That is true. That is true.
I'm bugging out that the Hey Now You're an All-Star guys went at us. That's not. I didn't.
Hey, if Smash Mouth walked through this door right now, I'd be like, security. Who are these? Get these people out of here.
This is a new account executive. Like, who's?
I'd have no idea. Smash Mouth could walk through this this damn office with a shirt that says "I'm Smash Mouth," and I'd say, "Get this hobo out of."
Okay. Well, wait a minute.
Could be Brooks Koepka for all we know.
You two need to stop it.
Call back to last week.
You two need to stop it.
I don't know who you are, sir.
I
know your song though.
That's a jam.
I do know your song.
Remember that.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but I know your song.
E40 gets tossed out. Smash Mouth is coming at us. Like, the hell? We got 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather sitting 10 feet apart. What the hell have the Kings Warriors done to society? What is going on? If you're not familiar, by the way, and it dawned on me as we were talking about it yesterday, some people might not be. Just Google 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather, and you'll see that them sitting, 10 feet apart, essentially with a table and Vivek Ranadive between them is fast. Just Vivek Ranadive keeping peace in the streets.
Vivek and that Nani.
At Nani.
Keeping peace out here. Actually bringing them together. Maybe they can rekindle their friendship.
Maybe they can.
But yeah, I mean, Draymond, I mean, he acted like a lunatic. I honestly don't care if you're suspended or not.
Yeah,
he wasn't suspended. It's whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not that big of a factor. It has nothing to do with.
He's not.
It's not that big of a deal. If he was suspended, he shouldn't have been acting like that. He shouldn't have been doing what he's doing. Like, I don't care. If they want to reverse it today, I don't care. The Kings are still backhand their asses.
I did try to confirm this with people who I thought would, be a little, more in tune with this thought than I. But to me, the final 7 minutes of the game really, really stood out. Sacramento was just better. That's what it boils down to. Sacramento, especially defensively, was better. But I thought the Warriors' offense looked better when he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that was adrenaline. I don't know if that was being fired up. I don't know if that was desperation in the moment. But I thought the movement of the offense was better than prior to when Draymond Green was on the floor, prior to his ejection. The difference was Davion was better. The Kings' defense was better. So much so that it destroyed JJ Redick's brain.
Well, I mean, it's the refs. It's the refs. Joe Dumars with conspiracy theories. For a fan base and media that complain about not getting their just due and getting disrespected all the time, they sure don't give nobody no respect. I ain't never heard a Warriors fan say, yo, that's a good team over there. I never even – Toronto beat them in the NBA Finals. I never heard them say, yo, Toronto was a good team. It was and then they called Danny Green dirty because on the Clays when he tore his ACL. That's their go-to. They always want to call somebody dirty. Yeah. No, nobody – the Warrior fans and their media don't never get nobody no props for hoop, man. It's always something else, man.
Let's not throw the umbrella like our man Jay Diller. He's a Warriors fan. We couldn't get him to wave the towel on Monday, but I think he gave the team the respect. Our man Drew Down is in here. He's been in here every day for 2 weeks now.
Shout out Drew Down.
Fans, I think this is a Kenny Caraway line. We're spending too much time together. Fans who know basketball, fans who know hoop, they'll give the Sacramento Kings their respect. Fans who have fragile egos won't. And it's no different than national media who have fragile egos. They won't give the Kings their respect. And that's what we're seeing today. And I just don't know why it's so difficult to go, man, it's this Kings. I thought they were good. I didn't realize they were this good. They're a good basketball team. It has nothing to do with what went on with Draymond Green. They're a good basketball